Hello and welcome. I'm Ryan Clark, the Oregon State Beavers beat writer for the Oregonian, and you're listening to Beavers Beat, a short-form podcast covering Oregon State sports. OSU football has arrived at a crucial juncture in its 2025 season. The Beavers are staring down the possibility of 0-5 and some potential changes in leadership should things go awry once again. But Friday's game against Houston also provides a chance for OSU to kickstart a turnaround with a convincing win at home against a Power 4 opponent. The Beavers' schedule does get much easier from here after having the second hardest schedule in the country to this point, according to ESPN's Football Power Index. I've got a story right now looking at those numbers up on OregonLive.com. Head coach Trent Bray, with his job potentially on the line in the coming weeks, appeared steady on Monday. He looked as confident and as assured as we've seen since the season started, so perhaps he knows something about this team behind the scenes that we don't, or maybe his seat is more secure than we think. Either way, the belief in this group appears to be there for Bray, and here is my exchange with Coach Bray from Monday's press conference.
Being through one of the more difficult stretches of your guys' schedule, I mean, what's the feeling around the team of trying to sort of hit that reset button ahead of a short week here?
Yeah, I've kind of said it. They've been great as far as the way they come out to work, the way they show up to meetings. There's no one's pouting or hanging their head or anything like that. So I feel good about the work they're doing. Just we understand. We've done some things. Self-destruction wise that have led to our situation. So we're part of that. We got to fix that, continue to improve in that, and then really build off, that first half of Oregon. I said it after the game, but you're right there with that team. That's one of the top teams in the country. That's what we're capable of doing, and we got to do it for 4 quarters.
And obviously, in these type of situations, there are outside pressures that exist for teams, for coaches. What are your conversations looking like right now with Scott Barnes? How much faith has he, expressed in you and to you?
Yeah. Again, all the noise is outside. That's the big thing for, to understand is there's no noise in here. There's no noise with the team. There's no noise with the coaches. That's all external, stuff that we can't control, and then really not even a factor for myself.
Houston is 3-0. And a team that poses a serious challenge for the Beavers in Game 5. No rest for the weary, as they say, and Oregon State's schedule does get easier from this point on, but this is the 5th in what is a daunting stretch for the Beavers. The Cougars have a dual-threat quarterback in Connor Wegman, a solid run game, and a defense that could stuff the run if they don't put the pieces together in that phase. At the end of the day, this game will be won or lost for OSU along its offensive line, first and foremost. And those guys have, to their difficulty and lack of credit, they haven't gotten the job done so far. Coach Kavanaugh has been in their ear, has been vocal in practice, but at the end of the day, it hasn't translated to the games. And this is a young and injured group, but they're going to need to play better if they want to beat Houston. On the defensive side, OSU is going to need to contain Wegman a lot better than it did Dante Moore. We saw when the Ducks faced the Beavers that Moore was able to get outside of the pocket, break contain, and scramble for a few big plays, including a 28-yard run. And Wegman is somebody that is quicker to run with the ball than Dante Moore is. On the offensive side, the Beavers are going to need more balance, and it'll be necessary for them to avoid forcing Malik Murphy to play hero ball again. We saw a lot of 3rd and longs last week against Oregon that Murphy had to force it downfield. They don't need that against Houston. They want to get up early and feel confident about their offense. That's ultimately on the big guys up front. So, keeping an eye on that offensive line remains the biggest key for me in this game. If all else fails, the Beavers just need to be willing to adjust on the fly and really throw everything at the wall to see what sticks, because this is a team desperate for a win. They're 0-4. Trent Bray is 1-10 in his last 11 games as head coach, and there's a lot of pressure on everybody right now. Here's Bray on the upcoming matchup.
What do you expect from Houston? What do they do? Is it completely different than anything you've seen yet this year? Or
No, it's very similar to what we've seen the last 2 weeks. from Tech and from Oregon, both offensively and defensively. So there's some carryover and things we've seen and learned from against those two teams that should, hopefully help us on Friday.
Coach, do you view this as a very pivotal moment in the season for you guys to, on this short week, to come out and get a win here, avoid the 0-5 start?
I mean, getting a win is pivotal regardless, yeah. I mean, a short week, bounce back. I mean, there's some positives to that too. You're not sitting around for a whole nother day thinking about what just happened at Oregon. So you can move on to the next opponent, but it's going to be important that we come out and rebound and play well.
For live coverage from Corvallis on Friday night, visit OregonLive.com/Beavers. Got plenty of preview content from this week up there as well. You can follow me on X and on Blue Sky at Ryan T. Clark, and be sure to submit your questions for the weekly Oregon State mailbag either on social media or via email at rclark, that's Clark with an E, at Oregonian.com. Thanks for joining us.